Good evening, everybody. Jameson Melby here, Remax Results. This is Joel Gray with Citizens One, and we're back with another edition of the Joel and Jameson Show.
Absolutely here, Jameson. So glad to be here. Hopefully you had a great Christmas, obviously, with that being on Monday.
Definitely. It throws the week off a little bit.
It does. It's with us, it's easy to get back into the grind. That's what we live for here. So that's what we're doing here. Ran into an old buddy of mine, and he kind of was talking to me about what it's like to sell in the winter. I know we kind of touched a little bit on that last week.
Yep.
But there's some myths about selling in the winter. So that's what our show is going to be today. Just kind of covering some of the myths about selling and some of the misconceptions about that. And Jameson's going to kind of go over some myth busters for us as well. Then.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it, Joel.
Yeah. So starting off here, number one myth right now is no one's looking for a home in the winter. I think that's incorrect.
Very, very much so.
There are a set group of people out there looking. So, if you want to take advantage of that, these are usually very motivated buyers. People that are not going to be wasting your time. They want to get in, get out, make things happen right away. So it's really a truly remarkable time to get in there, especially if they're going to get out in the cold weather like we're having here in Minnesota right now, and they're going to come to those showings. They're going to be pretty interested.
Yeah, definitely. So again, the myth was no one's looking for a house in the winter. So the myth buster here is that there are fewer houses for sale in the winter, but that's really a good thing for you if you're a seller. So I touched on this last week that if the weather's cold, like it is, this week is very cold, it's not fun for buyers to go look at houses. So typically we'll see less showings on your houses, but the showings that do happen are more serious buyers. So it's a great time to list your house. And then, so the thing is, for sellers who don't want a lot of hassle when selling, and they want less showings, winter is a great time because, like I said, the tire kickers are in the spring, summer, things like that. Very serious home buyers in the winter. So, do we have another myth?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Myth number two: the holidays are the worst time to show your house. I don't know about you, but I always take my kids. Around Christmas time, we go and we look at all the lights on the houses, and there are some really magnificent houses, lighting that show really well. So I think that's one of the misconceptions is that I think sometimes homes show really well in the winter, especially if you're doing nice lights, good presentation. It's kind of great curb appeal. Plus, it also gives the family a little bit of a sense of what a holiday is going to look like in that house. Right. So misconception. Holidays are the worst time to show.
Yeah, definitely. So again, the myth was holidays are not a good time. The reality check is that putting up lights is easier, than dealing with the lawn, the flower beds every day. So I always tell people you need to have your house looking as good as you possibly can for showings.
Absolutely.
Now in the summer you have to be edging your lawn, mowing it, bagging, things like that. If leaves are dropping, get those leaves picked up. There's a lot of things that you have to do to prepare your house.
Endless.
Now in the winter, holiday time, you put up your lights outside, set it and forget it. Yes, you have to shovel, things like that, but much less maintenance going on in the winter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. All right,
myth number three. Nobody wants to move in December, right? People are busy, they got family coming in, holidays, depending on your job, you got year-end quotas that you got to meet. People are just too busy. They don't have time for this.
Right.
A lot of the thing about that is that people that are going to be buying in December, maybe they need to relocate. They need to get into a new house before, the new year. They want to do it maybe for tax purposes, which we are going to talk more about that here in the next coming weeks because I know that's going to be a huge topic. And maybe they just want to have a fresh start for the new year, right? So December is a possibility, and I think it's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. So the reality check I have is that people need to move in December and January. January we talked about before is when a lot of job relocations happen. So people are coming in, and really, again, like I said, when you have less houses for sale, you have people moving in that have to make a purchase in January. So, I can quote Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Love Wayne Gretzky.
Correct?
Yeah.
So if your house is not on the market, it will not sell, is the bottom line. So I have some tips getting your home ready for sale in the winter. Again, we went through the myths, but you want to put up that sign for sale. Have a good mindset about it because a lot of houses sell in the winter. So let's get after it. And then, you want to start your new year off with a successful sale. So even if it doesn't sell in December and it sells in January, February, your new year is off to a great start. So let's book an in-home consultation. We can go through the whole selling plan, staging tips, things like that. To get your home ready for sale.
So again, those three myths again were obviously number one, no one's looking for a house in the winter. I think that's incorrect.
Definitely correct.
Number two, the holidays are the worst time to show your house. I think that's also just how you look at it, but I think also incorrect.
Yeah,
and the third myth, nobody wants to move in December, which we all know is not accurate.
Definitely.
A little on the lending side here, we're going to kind of go into, just briefly on the lending side, we're going to go into a little bit of some real positives about selling in the winter.
Yes.
That first one, and I don't know if a lot of people really know this, and maybe they don't, but you can seal the deal so much faster in the winter months.
That's good, right?
Yep.
Right.
Fewer showings, right? Lenders have fewer clients they're working on, so we already dedicate each individual as much as possible, right? Like they're our only customer.
Yep.
However, you just get that much more attention in the winter months because caseloads just aren't as high. That's just historically proven, right? So you're going to get their undivided attention on that, which is huge. Processing times are that much quicker. So if you really need to get in that house, instead of a typical maybe 45, 60-day closing, you're looking at maybe 15 to 30-day closing, depending on how quickly and how motivated you are in getting that stuff in.
Nice.
So that's something that's really positive. I think you can take away in the winter months.
Yeah, definitely. So another positive is that the buyers are highly motivated. I've touched on that earlier, and many of us, if you think about yourself, do you like going outside when it's slushy, icy, cold? We don't like going outside. So if somebody is booking a showing, or several showings for that matter, they're going to be serious. Like I said, when spring comes, everybody has cabin fever, so we really have to qualify these buyers before we show houses, because we find the hobby lookers and things like that. Winter, that is virtually non-existent.
Yeah.
When we have highs in the negatives like we do this week, believe me, nobody's out looking at houses for fun.
No,
they're motivated buyers. So that's another great positive about the winter sales.
No, I mean, I just know from my standpoint as a lender, I like to go to open houses and too, just to kind of mix and mingle, real estate agents, see kind of how the market's going. And cold weather like we have right now, you're not going to go out there just to mingle. You're going out because you're serious.
Right.
So that's definitely something to think about.
Right.
Next up here, Jameson, you can kind of touch on this as well. Here is that you're going to have to deal with fewer showings, right?
Right.
Because there's not that many homes on the market. The showings that you're going to have, they're going to be probably, maybe you have one or two showings, and those are going to be your buyers, right? I mean, they're not going to be window shopping, just kind of coming in saying hi, hey, how's it going? You're going to really get the motivated people, and these people probably have also potentially been looking for a number of months.
Right.
Maybe they missed out in the fall, right? They already got their financing set to go. So when they come and they see these homes, they're ready to go. And that's something that as a seller you love. You want to hear that.
Yeah.
Right? Because the fall, spring, it gets crowded. So it's something you can look at as well.
Yeah, definitely does. So another positive here is that sometimes we find that negotiations are easier. So the thing is, you don't have as many people looking. So as a buyer, you might not be running into multiple offer situations as much as you would in the spring. And if you're a seller, like I said, you have those serious people out there. And like Joel alluded to, we can get these deals closed faster in the winter because title companies aren't booked up like they are spring and fall. The lenders don't have as many clients, therefore underwriting can get through files quicker, things like that. So if you are in a position where you want to close sooner rather than later, that's a good time too. And there actually are stats that in the winter houses sell 1 week faster than in the summer, which is interesting. But again, there's less inventory, and you have those serious people out there. And then also they found that houses in the winter sell for 1.1% more than houses in the other
Which is crazy.
times of year, which is
when you think about
insane
that,
to me.
right?
You know, like who would think that winter is better for sellers? But really, again, you know, there's so many factors, especially in Minnesota.
Correct.
You know, maybe Florida, okay, you know, we might not have
Yeah.
things like that, but
No.
Minnesota, we certainly do.
No, absolutely. All great points there. We kind of touched a little bit on this, but most importantly, you're going to get an undivided attention from your real estate agent as well as your loan officer.
Certainly.
I mean, listings, like we said, you know, in the slower months, it's just that much more that you're going to get from your agent and loan officer that are going to be dedicated to you, making sure that your house is at the top of the listings, you know, ready to go so that it's looking great. They can take those winter photos. Also, you know, they probably have taken some photos of it in the fall potentially, depending on how they're doing with that. It just looks really good. They're providing all the attention to you. That's what you want as a client, right? You want to be catered to. At the end of the day, that's right. I mean, who doesn't want to be catered to? I do. You know,
Certainly.
so it's one of those that you really can do a lot of damage with it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. To touch on that, like Joel said, spring, summer, fall, we have tons of clients out there that we're, you know, dealing with, and the fact is less people are buying in the winter, so you do have that more individualized service. So there's many reasons why winter is good. There's no reason to not list your house, or if you're in the market to buy a house, there's no reason to hold off until spring, especially if you're a buyer.
Yes.
Waiting until spring
Yeah.
is terrible, because then everybody's coming out of the woodworks. You're dealing with multiple offers again. Much more stressful during that time of year.
I mean, I just know, at least in like the Edina market, Plymouth market, you know, the fall and spring causes lots of pain and just heartbreak because there are so many offers going on in homes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, if let's say you went to your website and you saw a listing in the morning, that listing may be gone by the afternoon if you're not ready to go and jumping on it.
Right.
Whereas the winter, you know, you're getting even more attention. You're going to know when things pop up. You're going to go in there and you're going to look at it, or you're going to see, you know, detailed specs of the house prior to going, so that you're not just trekking out in the winter, right? You're going and you know that you're probably going to be making an offer on that.
Yeah.
And then you can fly through the process on the lending side too, because we just, you know, you just have that much more legway with not as much clients going on.
Yeah, definitely. So the main point we want to bring you this week is that it's not scary, it's not a big deal, and you do have benefits to selling or buying in the winter. So next week we're going to be talking about the tax reform.
Yep.
That's a big deal.
That is a huge deal.
You know, especially in real estate, there's a lot of impact there, positive and negative. So we'll talk about that next week. Have anything else, Joel?
Yeah, you know, just hope everyone had a great Christmas. You know, we are very fortunate for the lives that we have, and hope you guys were blessed with a great day. And obviously, you know, we wish you a happy new year, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
All right, take
See you
care,
guys
guys.
next week.
Bye.